My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
Lawyer Twum Barima. Akwa bana pomi there.
Obi, nyame hwe. So so ho ye de.
Nyame adom bibia
last year tie na chi akra.
Yeah.
E ko pega lam se bi twa e.
Here papa men Canada.
Na Wednesday na wi mo we na me ti be wura mu na say. And Wednesday and so na you can say madam so na ye pa no.
Sure UPS.
We do feel na say some standard who straight to UPS.
And who call her?
Even no be say ja.
Senior communications team member there.
Anyway, ya trans the mama infa akonya nsunsuma you achieve the zebra so trinkwa.
Yes. Belated birthday.
Kwada na me ka madam dia me ka say say kwada na so na ye ne birthday na kasa. Nyamisha no mfinshia duonum enwotwe de.
Yeah, 58
years. Wakakara wakako tinyakopon ma no enkwa Bible say nipa wo nkwa na wade ne nyinara. Enti enkwa ahoden sade ana say ha yes I busa. Nyankopon fa no no na sade owo abotre odo.
Yes.
E wotie me say obi mi hu pani a. Kumba fa phone so wa text papa. Messi any 10 minutes.
Julius Deborah.
Yeah. Superb human being.
Any 10 minutes. We bring your responses here. I mean, Sabi, ya na correct Sabi tafracho. We be feeling one as ya na kana chance. But tell business in obi tiase a won. TV Joshua can say when President Mills died or Ghana.
Yeah.
Or say a dance na mood fan honda no. He needed those things when he was alive.
O tiase no.
Was it a bia na ka man ahoden more. Na kana ya no ka bimpo aka nku ne ntam.
Yeah.
Entino nipa na tiase so wo so ban pa bia eye fe na ya
na waka
aseka. And I think that many insano but honorable Julius Brother minim nipa de idea wontimi so nipa nyina ni now so but I am yet to hear one, because it doesn't matter where you are listening to something about him from, whether from the left
or from the
right, the kind of compliments are what na are very encouraging. A nipam pimpimwa a konanim adajene bro benya even memen day were small get together.
Sure.
Obi na no crown. Just say obi asanka anka artifact na kaye ba no mu yaba ba chiawo. But this man could move at it from table to table
and greet everyone.
Appreciating every soul who made time to come to the program. I mean to just to appreciate him.
Yeah.
Enti nyamisha no.
It's true. I think oye ni papa.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, you know, some people are good people.
Yeah.
I think he's a good person.
Yeah.
He's a good person. Now, I was saying about party ni be but na online lecture be mentimi anko.
I won't want yamba na we dey on there. I don't want yamba.
Yam frewa.
Oh.
Party.
Mimi na now. Oh, and
organizers in the escape.
Be na mumu na me yobo. Say go be anka say kam yaso me ka kira. Enti we dey we mono kwadu ze kan say no kwadu me ama jafa. Enti fa chame.
Yeah.
But I don't know to nchen obi sir I just your channel.
Just your
oh sorry dey about we come ibusa kekese adwese your channel.
Yeah, nyame ya do much.
Tie na we dey chat here na me
nyame ya do much. Aba nsem e koso ho.
Nsem ne esisi. Nsem esisi na nsem so koso ba.
Say
ne president akuvedo koka.
Oh no ngwa bra. But we we na ka bi. Nsem de o ma to nsem agumpa na. It's very obvious that we man hia hwe free asen no ayi. Ba ko ndese formula. Ko da bi formula.
Yeah, time independent.
Papa ya na we express speaker first second deputy rather.
Sure.
E ba yi. And ma won kan ho. And we dey chat na dey bra.
We say happy birthday to my good friend Mr. Ben Arthur, Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission. May God bless him. Honorable Ebenezer Nina Nate and Ode happy birthday message we kwama Mr. Ben Arthur, we Executive Secretary our Lands Commission. Sounds so, and a CEO of the Minerals Commission, Lawyer Martin Ayisi, and a now with a happy birthday to you as well. Atik Akwaba, it's saying.
I hope you meet you soon. I'm not doing when I won't say.
Adumia, Bibia Boko, Adumia, Ekoyi.
Nedi Kamamincha, the Republic of Gamaga for Namincha, your chief one, Yashafoni.
Sure.
No, just by way of observation, during the week, no, in
Sembe.
And I was actually surprised because I've had the chance to see and to read some documents in relation to Ministry of Education, Eni Juma Omudi.
Okay.
I was shocked, a presentation that was meant to highlight Juma Elkosuno, Ebimo decided to turn the entire thing upside down.
Yeah.
Look, I've always said, given where I come from, education is the only way out of individual and societal poverty. And the education is at the core of our growth as a country. Look, the next phase of Ghana's growth, you can't discount the education economy.
The factor
of education. What I say, the knowledge economy is going to be an integral part of Ghana's growth going forward.
Yeah.
Until Kwanya SFS, because look, Adisuano, Danidano, Esesa, we've got to the age where we are no longer using chalkboard and chalk to write. Yeah, you know, learning and teaching, acronym, and transformation in education is a multifaceted enterprise. What I say, and this Obi Bon Homodin trying to bring Ghana to the 21st century level of education. For example, an initiative to build model GHS
schools.
And all of a sudden, some people are turning it into, say, Osio
Obepenti schools in blue and white.
How? But he said that too.
No, TA.
That was his word. I listened to him, I think.
You see, your kind say he didn't say he was going to paint until
he said all.
Will you have patience?
A contest. Within a contest.
And that's what I'm providing for you. You see, and in the end, my understanding, and because I've read documents from the ministry, I say, look, Ministry of Education is supposed to be a ministry that is driven by research. Until any policy they are evolving has to be informed by policy. By research. Omo who say, Awufo would prefer to send Omunkwala to schools dining painting here different and the rest of it. Bright colors and they have uniform that stands them out. The content may not even be at par with the public school in terms of teaching, but essence the environment in here different. The branding, people would prefer to send their wards to our private schools, And also look, what stops Ghana? Year taxes buying from providing public education that can compete favorably with our private schools or even do better. Secondary schools public schools are the best in the country. Now when you come a step further down, see everybody prefers to do private school and people are struggling to pay the prohibitive rates of private schools.
Very expensive.
Obi was shifting and our rotating on color, across many different private schools because
a matter of choice, really. I mean,
what do you mean by a matter of choice?
Basic school. But if you have a public school close to you, or prefer private school, you have.
Why do you think they would prefer that? That is the question.
Okay.
Why do you think they prefer that?
Quality.
Exactly. And you see, everybody, every agent makes rational decisions or makes rational choices. And Omar Jean is school daya etu hofefefe. Akola no kwa or wana sumdwe obesuya de no kama and the rest of it. Uniforms or mushakra sometimes they flex ma.
Yeah.
Rollins na disa no prosperity tunkusa na yi na edi bai.
Ko containing cotton kwai.
What I say? Oh no di bai. And before then, there were unique uniforms at basic schools, people's in basic schools, Ejisu. And side, and on the private schools for no, So if the argument is we want to change the colors of public basic schools to make them more attractive.
But in this case, the model schools, not
the
all
model schools. No.
I think that is where specificity and they generated this whole hula.
You see, it was just mischief. How would you? The person spoke about building model schools that are up to the level of education, and also as an addition, painting no cry says
yes,
and that the choice of uniform scratch should be left to parents.
Yes.
And no, then you decide to say, oh, Papa is your painting basic schools in
Ghana.
Some of them are not even qualified to be called basic schools, and that is the reason I see NCC school are dying for now. So mischief, yes, how can you paint?
I saw memes be on social media.
What is, and that was deliberate.
Touch roof.
Now we painting.
They are painting blue and white.
Wow, it should tell say this is. This should tell say it is clear mischief. And for me, what yes, Hannah, you discourage Obia or born homodin to transform the sector.
Yeah.
I would have thought initially I had my issues with education because of my passion for it, but who shared the kinds of progress we are making?
The investment in education has been massive,
progress has been equally significant. So when we begin to denigrate some of these interventions and ideas, it's not easy to sit and ideate on some of these things. How do you get parents and pupils to want to attend public schools? Yes, you to public school be not 5 penny class, but next to our school, a private school is overflowing. There's congestion.
And as you say, what you need is a private school, whether
the quality is there or not.
Once a private school, no student gumusa. Private schools be a dying.
Exactly.
You are like, hey, and students are no.
And I want him. It is only public schools that entertain only trained teachers.
Sure.
And they are not just trained for nothing. Just say to be trained. Nanso, we feel say they offer less quality because Usha school are there now. We feel they are not befitting. Colors Nukra are putting people off and the rest of it. Now, obviously, look, as part of the progress, we need to also change how we even color the buildings.
Yes.
Color uniforms, let the wards decide what you must say. Yes, you see, Penti school are dying all over the country, the dilapidated ones, and the what is it? And a school uniforms, yes, yes, you are quite procurement.
Because changing uniform, the colors,
parents in there.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Okay.
And how can idea parents be if they decide the colors are uniforms are a penny,
sure,
they will buy or sew them. Now, so you see, every minister now when procurement gig or the school uniforms now mancrophobia. Okay, say the first time we attempted school uniforms from Kuala, Yakopam sa Zalabi and Mankwala. What you are Kuala be I didn't yet. What has here? We realized this was a bogus policy to begin with. And a jay, and the Ufona na pom or Montadia.
Jalabia school uniforms.
Min Canada, one size fits all. Akoya 2 years or 5 years or Munina Yapamom. What has it? So government is no longer sewing uniforms for anybody. And if the parents decide that uniforms are a penny,
yes,
you be now a huge procurement gig, and I am from my party for now wait dear or no idea and Tianka Santia. Meanwhile, it's just an idea that is meant to encourage people to want to go back to the public school system.
I saw pictures of Benghazi Masende or pictures be Fato Somami here. I'm told say the STEM Academy.
Yeah.
East Legon, Accra here.
Yes,
beautiful. And I was like, all of this.
And the idea is to raise public schools, at the basic level, to the point what was it called middle schools.
Yes.
They are like self-compounded schools, very beautiful. Uko school, teach you say no. School, teach you say sorry school.
Anyway, the East Legon.
Come on, imagine
the STEM Academy.
This is a public school.
Share your Facebook, ni YouTube, and I hear there are several of this across the country. STEM academies.
Yes.
On the science and math.
That's the secondary school level. Basic level, so share some of the schools there. Story buildings.
The one I saw that I was like, wow, the KG block. Almost new kindergarten blocks. Meanwhile,
it's supposed to be public.
And they're for that.
Exactly.
I was shocked.
So the question ministry in Ejisu is what stops us from giving Yankwala the Dadabi treatment at the basic level? Because we pay taxes.
This term thing is solid. Where senior high school?
Charlie,
this is solid.
This village before Yagba. When you are from Wali, it's a honor Baumema free. Oh, Obin
Wale.
No, when you Wale. Ufri Wale, call Yarba. Bimsi. Look, is it Bimsi or I mean somebody should help with the name. Honum no. As a university campus. Nefe.
I know your way schools Nibia.
STEM schools Nibi. It's part of the STEM schools.
Okay.
Nefe. Beautiful. Okay. Me, I think say Obi ya dia. Let's help. If we can't even take part in the ideation process, not Obi the least we can do is to support.
Very well.
Because at the end of the day, a good basic school system is profitable for all Ghanaians.
Very well.
Until we
never betray. We say passing.
Dead passing. Yeah, that's
passing back. Anyways, yes, lawyer. Now, person who can be was Adi.
Obi.
Yes.
Me challenge me wo. No market to but we asking some few questions.
Okay.
So, opesa was school ntade no. It's not really a problem. But ananu ya na change school ntade no.
Across the country
2019-2020 academic year then I see what hunti affair for
we in all schools the new proposal we just the model schools. I'm told
so me nobody to voice no
me patch or dabi me new ha
I think because
I can get the exact quote
dear me tie ya na said dear me tie na said me and say o say I stand to be corrected from what I'm going to read.
Okay.
This is him. 1 second. Okay, so I'm reading a report put out by TV3.
Okay.
So we are switching to blue and white. We are painting all the schools to give it an attractive outlook.
Okay.
The word here is all.
Which schools? There should be a context.
All within a context.
Which all schools? Which
I think the context.
There has to be a context.
And you see, I don't have to put that context there.
Okay.
I'm just
the
saying.
reporter ought to have.
Exactly, but the American said, "They mimi who ye."
Okay.
I listened to an audio also, and I also heard that word. We are changing. I mean, we are painting all the schools. Sanana samno ye, let's say 5 minutes. And we try just 30 seconds except no penny free more.
Okay.
At the then we can say maybe we may be misquoting him. So what I say? But no crown. My first question be say be when necessary can. And tadi no. School minister 2019-2020 aban we are press. We introducing school uniform for schools. The air can now so be and yes school for still aban schools ya want money so air. So blue and white no air come here for.
Model school senatic kind
and STEM for never blue and white.
And model JSS now and
model JSS
all over the country.
And no send yes so far.
Model
JSS yes here so far.
Almost be there, but I have no information.
I na e adwuma sisi a. We are I mean I function as nkwala ekom esen.
Mse ba ko bosumtwe. Ya
send ya and your movie that and no movie mama admit students cry. Yeah, girls there no.
Oh, send them there
all girls in high school.
I want know are you what you free for the contents na ba ya say.
Send your coin.
Piasia.
I'm talking
secondary school.
Yeah,
that one is a secondary
school. Piasia. I will give you free contents ba. O concert will be. Minimum says supposed to do me constituency ni won't ono area ni nyina minimum nyina esitire. Ana minimum say na ono adutwu na kasa so secondary school.
Ono school no.
To ono school no jachi meba. Ono school no jachi. And on one private secondary school.
Sure.
And they say, I don't know what happened, but they say,
I'm
a buy man. And no, so no, woman changing by I'm saying, STEM, science and whatever school. It's a no jachi, I was just behind Jachi from secondary school. Or I on one crum one as well. So I know how hard that plus the STEM, sorry, girls, and there was some girls here and also what your medical we. And so now, from what you are saying, you will say, and I said to me, I think essay. Papa na some kind in just the STEM schools and also model schools, white and blue or blue and white. And then one person say white and blue uniforms. Yes, school be
yes.
Sir Clarity ni ba
issue statement.
But that is what my worry is. So that simply means that the minister might have communicated wrongly. The Minister of Community be another kind and the making ya. Maybe a no children who said that I didn't say yes, I can't say no. Yakoya matic in chumpe, Obin come. And then a young clarify said, a tick in chumney and Yakoman Obin come. Because from what the chum said, was it all schools? All public schools. Where Obi Janauking. And no cram passe about time to do none by choice, as you said. And your mama equal private schools. And as Atik also said, rightly, it's true. So, private schools, you know, and suddenly licensed and very well trained teachers. But the question is, about the saying that the only, I mean, the very certified teachers, you know, best students or I mean graduates in one way or the other than the only certified teachers, you know, and I said licensed or qualified teachers, you know. I didn't hear.
Part of it is the issues about the infrastructure, you know, and even the kinds of uniforms share.
See, no, I wouldn't agree with you on that part, because I don't want to believe, say, because I'm not wearing, sorry, a more or less an attractive uniform, and my performance from my school is not good. Performance, I'm making me. Me say about the saying a private schools. Women need the certified or trained and now licensed teachers. And most students need a far better
than
public
basic schools.
Trained, licensed now or certified teachers are. You just say one more day when you saw that sentence is study. Into a question in the about better what the Ankasankasa. I bind the animal no was experts, you know, not a well skilled personnel, no, and no 18 more good the product. And until now, by choice now, or about time, I say, me banning here very good foundation. And the SARS unity, and Montessori.
Before education was privatized, then your public schools in
yeah, public schools
and Nkola were not doing well.
They were.
So you see,
so we've gotten something new now. There is competition. Now private schools are in the mix.
Okay,
no, so it changes the dynamic.
Secondary schools.
Sure.
They are not doing better than public schools.
Oh, now most of them are not functioning well because of the free education.
But even before
Omo position who in the numbers because Stephen Ade, Professor Stephen Ade school he say oversubscribed.
Okay.
Christian High secondary school.
Okay.
Solid.
Okay.
Former Wesley Girls old student almost school no. Legacy Girls also a Wakuse area beautiful school. In the Omunya position and after all the across Omu international or Ghana international or name.
Someone that say A+ schools now come
private schools. Omunya numbers.
Of course, I mean I want the other because I want the A+ schools. I mean they
are A level free one out Baligon.
Correct. So what you say? Enti me dey say Obi, my worry is that I can who in combine the no should rather be the marker.
Yeah.
And could be a so they are born a bra in that on the what the correct people to be teaching you. On the correct people. Graduates from Evans and University of Education, Uniba, and now our training colleges in Nkran Bay, and now one more copy. There are people that have been taught how to teach students and manage students. One more licenses I'm saying, I want to be passing it near day. And you be moving as one you. It's about how you manage your class and so on and so forth. Exams and
and they almost feel it.
Yeah, I think it's about 4 components, and I'm about 4 people and exams no which and also.
Teacher for is almost okay fans kakra.
And another matter for another day. The amount of failing we
exams.
We need to go into it. Now if you heard the failing rate in this was so what I say because say by and you be I'm say 3-4 years.
Yes.
No license exams yeah and you know say failing rate
because more passing the doors so see more failing
no but say so yearly no say we say oh can there so far na no can na boom one more passing na but the me can say afibia no ye twene wi a one more passing no failing no at the same I mean the one went me nya kwan metra de no doors say one more ayi na if that is the case then we have to look at it again because I nya hwe kwa nipa na ko train na wi ya trade say this study wi So about the side of one no pass now, Opia Bontin dia this 4 component, 5 component paper and you won't even pass. And this another discussion for another day. But what my question is the performance.
Okay.
I ban the sign of private schools, you know, our woman need, as I said, the very well certified teachers, you know. And my very good students, my Makoa, yeah, give me 10,000 Ghana, 20,000 Ghana, and have a bit. But I bind you on what correct teachers in Mumuno. I am one person. I'm never in support of say you privatizing BB. You say I buy and but me say only when that's on my this and come meaning to mother because oh sabi the first so I don't buy there now different buy something to come atika sabi you sabi the first atika go find pen free sabi the first India baba
or the Ghana
one of the bayo na buy thing for you no want me money. So what I say? So these same people, no teacher for now when they are still there, government is still training. The one who call continuous, you can say,
development
programs. One more, I mean
professional development.
Very good. Yeah, mom said training is in Nara. So why are we not getting the good outcome from our schools? Now, BBA follow BC, follow any other idea. When Corona bomb who wanted to do one year more private schools. Why?
Yeah. Anyway, that's just
by the way. And see, maybe understand. Of course, I mean, sir, if the education minister is saying that or education transformation, it shouldn't just be building model schools or whatever. But it shouldn't just be that. But rather, no, said there's existing ones and so. How can we bring them up to the level no say school year board in the GIS and whatever no and change bibi yen ofo pani ni wan you and change mo
assemble no anya
assemble na wan anya you want to put home na to same level obi you want to go at the same level anyway maybe pass the mama chan me your friend no Joseph Jackson was say or Toronto, I think so.
Yeah.
Now, you think you're nti me was okay. The text be at of yeah.
Asamba no nya but oko Lincoln Community School you ha Abelempe
then oh.
I come website na school fees. Oba o china na ye di hon come. O dey go school fees na bra.
Na me just say you obi an obi me dey say individual mpo. That's
what government wants to do.
Yeah.
And one exactly.
So
that's the vision.
It's the existing ones, no. Any 20, 30, whatever years.
Apart from building way, no.
Yeah.
Some of the old ones are being reconstructed to the level. Once they come to Jesus, it's just like and you say you could
see model senior high schools. No.
Yeah. Some of them were brought up to par.
Yeah.
What's your say?
Like I said, anyway, I still stand by my point. Okay. I'm not against you building model schools or building attractive schools.
They come model.
Giving them all the needed, I mean,
facilities, good libraries, and the rest of it.
But the American say, and the phone woman that does see for free by you.
Okay.
In terms of numbers, and old for no numbers, and new ones here are
very well.
So we need not to neglect the old.
Mate, my let me come to you. Other issues I pursue with the home commoner in Trust.
Okay, so with them, my person what time you were SML and they were EC.
Yeah.
And how many
SML ni EC.
EC and just by election. Set 300 by.
Yeah, just by election.
Because of time, I'm focusing just on 2.
SML.
How many minutes do I have?
Oh, there 10 minutes to start. In that case,
Mamichen 5-5. Now, Mamisha is in free easy on Nami and in free hotel. Nice MLD issues no also. And some of them are very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially given the fact that your press conference be much of this content.
Why am I press conference? The NDC press conference.
Okay. Now who else did the press conference on SML
specifics?
No, and then who else did the press conference?
Ebi ana Mazda my press conference.
No, well.
Okay.
Whatever you covered, then
okay.
Until maybe become one. But the electoral commission. There. Some of these issues that are coming up are rehashing of old failed issues.
Really? The new things Imani are saying,
Mazda at the time,
sure,
you know, our focus had not. The themes we were working on did not include issues of sustainability and the rest of it.
Yes,
we, you know, did issues related to governance. Ubekaya, and at the time the name was not Mazda anymore. We looked at some of the issues now. I'm for a reason about the need for a new register and all the issues that came up. Imagine for these are all issues that were shot down. I'm Kwesiaga, because they were not founded on truth, they were not founded on facts. For example, to say the Electoral Commission wasted money to go and buy new BVDs and BVRs when they could have refurbished old ones. And you see, it feels like you are talking to yourself, because these were issues that were raised then. The facts defeated their claims. They went as far as even propounding all kinds of weird theories that don't even exist. The Q theory.
Yeah.
The Q theory was propounded by
KFC or said queuing
theory. Wherever it
some of the restaurants be analogy.
Theory, no. Okay. I mean the KFC bit. A bit. What I do remember was the theory they propounded. Say, because of their queuing theory, even the registration, no, the BVRs that we had and the BVDs are now one, and to me, my Electoral Commission and your registration po. At the end of the day, the Electoral Commission did exceeded the target they were going to register. They were targeting to register 12 million people. They ended up registering over 70 million, and they did that instead of 40 days. They did it in 38 days. The Q theory fell flat on its face. This argument about BVDs were a waste of money, they could have refurbished the old ones. What say every equipment has a different end of life. Yes. The EOL of every equipment, they say, Edru honum na. And to me, nye juma biem, urifabishia enye ye. Either pass no any biem, they've stopped production. And now the lifespan of such equipment no edru until we are shia enye ye. Before this current crop of ECs and our commissioners buy, the previous one budgeted $56 million to refurbish old BVRs and then old BVDs and then to buy new ones and then set up a data center. 56 million. And let me give you some specifics, Obi, because the quantities are very, very important. Yet the quantities, if we get to have the quantities, then you would understand why I told you that these issues were raised earlier and they were shut down. Under the Charlotte Osei-led EC, they projected or budgeted to refurbish BVRs and BVDs and to buy new ones for the 2018 referendum and and then the DL, which is the district level elections for 2019. TNE, they were projecting to refurbish BVDs, 46,200 of them, and the unit cost was $244. So for the 46,200, Nina would come up to $11.272,800. And the BVDs are they intended to buy new ones, no, 10,000. Listen to note the figures down: 46,000 refurbished, 10,000 new ones. BVDs, BVRs, and the BVRs are the biometric verification registration kits, no, which is different from the biometric verification devices, no. The kits come usually with the scanners, the cameras, and what have you, any baby audio inside, all of that. They were projecting to refurbish 1,670 of the BVRs and then buy 1,000 new ones. The new ones are not projected to buy. A unit cost was $5,145 US dollars. No, these are official EC documents.
Okay.
What is here? And I mean, you can, EC has even issued another statement repeating and reproducing all these documents. I can send them to you, or you can just go on their website and you'd find it. Me see these documents, because we had like official documents indicating the budgets that the Electoral Commission, EC chairperson at the time, writing to Parliament and so on. So these are not facts and figures that are in doubt. And the total of the new BVRs would come to 5,145,000. And the refurbished ones are 8,670, would come to 3.65 million US dollars. At the end of the day, they were budgeting to spend 56 million US dollars. And look at the quantities. This time, guys, the quantities are important. So these are for the kids, and then they intended to set up a new data center. But this current EC is decided as a look. One, and like I said, Makadi wants how much to the point say, okay, you are repeating yourself. The manufacturers, HSB, BV, it's a Dutch company. Omuna producing the kits for us, the BVDs and the BVRs. They had written to the Electoral Commission saying, the equipment had reached UL, which is the end of life. No? And this is a refurbishment krana, muba manje yukra munya pass no. And it was going to even be more expensive. So when Muba and they felt look, why refurbish some old ones already know omu drew the end of lifespan. Until we refurbish cry, they would have a shorter lifespan. Like use would just be temporary. After the DLE for 2019, the referendum in 2018, won't mean you should be. So why spend this amount of money refurbishing idea won't you soon check? Because we had the 2020 election to run. So they decided to say, why don't we buy altogether new kits? So they decided to say, better new BVDs and new BVRs. And look at the amount of money they spent. You see, if you compare the new ones for the old Electoral Commission, they were projecting to buy one BVD at $917. These ones bought them at $336. So they were able to buy more. Instead of 10,000 new BVDs, they bought 74,500. The cost came to 25,032,000. And if you sum the refurbished and the new BVDs are now old issue per se, it came to somewhere 20.2 million US dollars. So and the total would have been 56,000. The refurbished and the new ones. But where Omuton new ones entirely 74,500 and the amount was 25 million. And in the at the end of the day, they spent 54 million buying 74,500 new BVDs and then 8,500 BVRs. Compared to Wemua now Omuto 1,000 BVRs and then refurbishing 1,670. Omuto 8,500 brand new ones. Then they set up 2 data centers, not one, as against the earlier one. And they spent about $68 million. But if they were to use the rates of the previous administration, they would have ended up spending 112 million. You understand? So, if anything at all, there were savings. And now, some BVRs and BVDs are autonomous. And they will continue to use them until almost bedroom UL. What is here? So, for somebody to say Electoral Commission wasted money buying new BVDs because of procurement, they call it gig, when they could have done refurbishment, because cost effective.
Is it said they are not seized with this data?
Mischief. Because I remember very well, at the time we even got documents that we shared with the Ghanaian public. The Electoral Commission itself published these documents. What I say, letters from the Electoral Commission, letters from the manufacturers to Electoral Commission, and all those things. So because this is rehashing of old field issues. Now, issue of the issue of BVDs now auction. So once this equipment, the Electoral Commission says, look, we have to find a way of disposing of them. So they went through all the processes, met with all the agencies to auction them. And private entity be toy. And the process was transparent. Private entity be toy. A recycling, plant.
Yes.
And sometime, I think last year or early this year, somebody found 10 pieces of the BVDs in some recycling plant and raised the alarm, say, hey, Electoral Commission. They found out near Electoral Commission auction and they were meant to be recycled. What I say? And it's not 10. They were not 10 pieces. Don't turn in and it was just 10 bipena nipanu huye. And made it look as if say Electoral Commission Eshada Cotton 10 BVDs and the rest of it. And just it here. Once they had no use for them because no more and there was no data on the you can say registration now. They transferred the data from the equipment onto a main server. Until the next use of Zaino. Uko check she knew so until say omu tonkrana because of EOL no. Uko fa there's no data to even be found on it. And the Electoral Commission they do omupe ekoton sa BVDs ni BVRs no because they had to go through processes for them to be allowed to even auction them. And then I just think that because we are yet in another election year, AC in 2020, and look, they became unsustainable, and at the end of the day, the acute theories and all the other theories they propounded, no, Ankusiaga, 2024, we still need to find something. Yet the Electoral Commission in order to hang them. But I always say, a destroyed Electoral Commission is a destroyed Ghana. What you say? Say yes, say Electoral Commissioner. As I say, any Electoral Commissioner is any keke. We are destroying the Republic of Ghana. Because if we begin to have issues with our elections, because of some of these malicious claims are meant for AE, look, Ghana would not peace. You are peaceful until you are no longer peaceful. What you say? Who would have thought, say, a country like Liberia would end up in war? It was one of the most peaceful countries. Until the issue of power transition, colonial masters in their mind, one group wants to be the, to form the government. They never had that. But eventually they ended up in war. Yeah. Because, look, you can always end up in war if you take your peace for granted. And one of the things that we are taking for granted is the impartiality and the work the Electoral Commission is doing. Until at every time, I'm not saying don't criticize the Electoral Commission if they are wrong. I have had my fair share of criticisms of the Electoral Commission, and I will continue to do so. But when it is deliberate, it's malicious. It doesn't serve anybody. And especially with the issue see by Yetuguye, with facts. 4 years later, what's our Kotamsa issues as Adiaba? I don't think, sir, these are things that will serve a collective good. And my advice is that, look, if you have any genuine issues to raise with the Electoral Commission, proceed with that. But rehashing and rebagging of old issues that are been found to be unsustainable in the it can only be mischief. And that kind of mischief is dangerous. Disinformation and misinformation in an election year against the body that conducts the election is not in anybody's interest. And the earlier they stopped it, the better for everybody. It's true.
It's true. Mamintie lawyer Emra, and then we can wrap up with the SML. Yeah. Yes, lawyer.
Okay, Obi. My first one will be on briefly on ECDA. No?
Okay.
And then I'll quickly do just by elections. ECDA no me is young. Maybe namsen time I'll call vacation in back. Maybe two Dr. Sebuku.
Yes.
I could take to Jason not numbers metra. Now, in your opportunity, am I my mind and I'm coming to me to 1 or 2 questions to him. I think it was I'm feeling near back a saying off. If I'm right, or yeah, I think so. I think I'm feeling near back a saying off by elections. I remember. And I sent back on the Kai pass and the catcher and say, you see, I would enter by the forecast and so be for in a coin. So we say, then yet, I give my Electoral Commission, you know. And yes, a political party being in the NDC or whoever, a woman as a probity a woman. And in an answer, so what you to say, yen and I was me and yen eggman away at the Obi, and Peninsula by no for the by no question. In to see when yen and my idea, any time something regarding a dinner would wo yamay and as I want the ayen, and will be seen a sefata. So by my young dear question. Koka, ya woman sends me by a year cabin and say, oh, minority in parliament, and the cool reasons I'm winning out of by. What Brana is no mukam carrying through here, and watch no more than we Mumbai, so I didn't quite say in the vicinity. na na more yet to kura near the see I report on my national security said police for Abepeke were suspected employees raising eyebrows on them and so on and so forth.
And you're different from the Mika.
I'll come to the
those are
the
recent issues.
The recent issues, yeah. So we did 2020 and
I'm for
a reason, yes. So the American question now say where you keep mute or you keep your clients as you know on the in dark or in the dark. You let him or you allow him to be speculating and be saying things that you don't want to be hearing.
That's fair.
But see a buyer in an man be banana is in what did you name as it were? Your iPack ya will fitting for events after Jan. A person by Pemunde. And when a party see Koshia couldn't come, and when a party see Koshia Quacha, and when a baby a cost 1 year, your copper compare, I, Yenya Babaso. Now you am Yenina. As he said, Liberia example, and now one is still Liberia in India. So that's it. Yam Penisa. And as no one was no more pensa, but a banasa. So that's it, but the embassy bedru. Ghana yen nishe kura upon Sabi, a mamma 1 year to win election, as in Jedia will be. I may be up here few Arapa, a drain without him could do as from you, Arianto. And no quan is not like I Ghana for to do on one head and enjoy. But I in instances beat Miss Zidia, but to do on one enjoy that piece. But so when you had the another prep, you know, would you and Massum yen be na we impony your charging just and I'm away would tree and moi. The issue always decide to do their own thing. And not me to me because for one of them. That Mr. Kwakuti, I make a say, for instance, a brand of culture near our car say or culture only district centers. Reason I would the my head have no cop. Also, no mamma a parliament to answer questions so back I corner year be or buy no copy before parliament. Reason I was citing behind that decision I would take in. To me, it was bogus. So we understand one about prevent people from being bashed to the registration center. And you what call district capitals, the district center. No, no bar accept who for you na oh, okay. Except those who live in that very community, no district capital. No, I mean, when a district officer knows they can send a one pen. A majority of them will be coming from different areas and communities, and they'll be taking vehicles. And because you rather open the floodgate for political parties and politicians to bash people, and indeed that was what happened. That was what happened. And it is time the EC should admit and accept the fact is that Osmuye, and then kuma ya wetimu radios and one way and no mafadwen ya bandafo and a bandafo no be share bafadwen. It is better or to be better say ubeko so manu mama aye pefe ni han ya mobia de be ma ye koto ba ni wie na menya tu amajetu nzetu na menya na pepe ne mo nyisa madwen se menya 4 ana wo se menya 2. We have had issues from back to front. And question that when I be able to do political year, election year, na political parties are having issues with the electoral commission. Are we not supposed to move far from that? Esinano, egusu sine. And every 4 years, you electoral commission be issues. Just because of the way they are doing their things, no, just because
just share opportunism by politicians.
Well, I mean that is
when
your opinion.
They're in opposition, their tone is different or move
that is your opinion, but I mean there may also be some genuine concerns,
which they discover only when they are in opposition.
Oh, and yeah, as to when they discover it should not be a problem, but there may be genuine concerns. What does it? There may be genuine concerns. It's yeah, media and say, baby, I'm about to read 92. 96, 2000, 2004, but from 2024, how many years in here? Yabe and Imbebre. Sabre baby, we should be at peace and have some kind of calmness with the electoral commission. Because I mean, because the electoral commission, I mean the institution, not in Nipa, Abetra be and Yazakremo. But the institution, because you're not much and like Manoma, but permanent experience should be there enough, say. That back and front and no one you way saying one for me way one for we are marrying not the BIA Baba can it should stop. It should stop. Middle news in Obi Yami Admochna Asante Ejisu for air by election. The NDC as a political party, you say we have just about 7 months or so, if I'm right, to the next general elections.
Yes.
And under normal circumstances, elections be any before December. Now, so Yampanis are down and Yabanasa. You know,
Dr. John Kuma.
Yes, Nantuma since a bit of a went to Yanfa. In Tinakoban, I see a baby in the name. But the answer, I mean, looking at the fact, Nipa, your candidate one day, I can say your parliamentary candidate. But Okas almost uncle elections now, I mean, December. Me personally, I mean, a kind of something that would be too difficult for him in terms of, I mean, spending and resources. In the end, I'm prepared whom we on Fabian, I'm prepared who you not on the main one, which is December. And so we decided not to file any candidate, or we decided to say more non-contest in the by-elections, but rather, you might prepare for the main elections rather. But as it stands now, I think it's about 5 people.
Yes.
5 people in there contesting for the by-elections.
But officially, almost a mota a duomiachi. NDC.
Official. Is that official?
No, me Busam.
Busam officially, yes, I tell you.
I've
not heard any official communication on that ground, so I can't say yes to that. But the minimum say,
but Munya and command for Betwama.
Me personally, dear. Don't say one nip was some train bush.
Yes.
And just a constituency, and nip was some train bush, and now grabbing constituency, no, and so bush. Now, Bosom Chief Fan. And I'm saying, I mean, some genuine no media, minimum, I can't remember why. I know, dear, I mean, you're going to put some idea of Kohana when why aren't the Mimaka?
Any area from the area to be
exactly. Oko Krobit is a so any maybe I don't come in December.
On
soonness and include Obi. Sabi Cronin feature na Yagusukota.
I know John Commander Bay.
No, John Commander,
I do me.
To be honest with you, there is a million won't be a bacon adjustment. Over Juma do me and well, we can't say John Nanch.
Yeah,
and today be a bands. But to be honest with you, job work wise, dear, I do me as far better.
Do me a 3-term
exactly to know about Juma Pa. Nams me, Jidis and no soon tea, Anamani or what it for. But I was the ambassador cases in the say. Over the weekend, MVP year, one of their final rallies. I think they are almost 3 communities. Now, Kakra me who ye on social media, a tram say this political party called MVP, woman is there.
Sir.
Yeah. I'm just going to use 2 people who are now their key people. Dr. Baumia and then Nana Kufuado. Dr. Baumia must know, I said, what about do me? What about my NDC? So they shouldn't vote for a duo me. Then was no. Now also can be say a duo me. I can say when MB before we are by them no contest say you know ye mun the man on the winning ye ne sense bebre. Hwe moko gina for me na with your ministers na ponu mu na dade nyina ko for me na moko to ayampe bebre gu mu ho etia wure na when the second deputy speaker of the parliament what saying on the December. Esiama honorable Esiama koye bi bia Esiama belusu because we free party mo ko independent yet tom ye me any political parties no ufru musa ko independent automatically won your party babim but empanisa so baja na gu sere so obi entwa tonto ne ye woro obasa afa aba ne sande na so sere ne so biem an otana pa ama utan yo obasa de ye no an natural wo na biem otana pa ne biem. There's a way to deal with people in politics because politics in Nipan ye de ye. Matraka has a way that will be. Mr. Nipan in the say what number to easy for set your machines in BBS. Now, obi this what command neds are saying, control banner. There will be no MP as at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Ye MP biao. So when you Nipan now, what the idea? Yen kunga for nigga. Sawa person pe edu me sorry ewo etitafo dodo ewo san potem ho a wo mo don no pe na sempa video na and supporters every wound me no. So they love the man whether you like it or not. Yes, there will be people who also be against him. Normal. But so what could now cause upon us what about man what about my NDC me busamu what's na no nsia mo trasa bari be atie na samapon na aboro so bia no ngotwe na ma kan bibia wiem ye hunde wadi nkuna sa diom na adi nkunu ma Mumbo Sola Kosan and Akwasiana Kwanasa Moya Parliament. I'm asking them. So that a Siama there should have been a lesson for you guys. So, but for Siama, I come as Parliament. And no crampo now, look at the way we have been struggling in the last 3.5 years, 4 years. Not mistakenly or whatever. Be before for us and see. I'm a more besanko by election beam. Someone who was once your member of parliament, as you said, for 3 good terms, 12 good years. As we were independent. So when we been so there is a way I'm with my first poker be a community at me. I didn't come. Once more the man, sir. And I'm going to pass more to man. No, we are one to know, and I don't want to be whole. That's about me. I want to be what I'm crying. And I said, be a them, and there's a Eastern region.
Oh, Eastern region.
It won't to be watching. Won't to me want to be watching. It won't go, I found Americans. Won't to be watching. Mo ko honyina ndo do na munya mu fi aba mu fi timamufu na te wan anabeto wan. Their decision is paramount. So if they decide to send a DOM to parliament, will you object it? You can't object it. So allow them to make their own decisions. Because if we do one you guys, I know you. Mumasa ko no be ma ko no be on betra mo side no nka say because we say when you do by virtue of the rules no and so we declare say obetra be nkwa na say be obetra nifa and so nifa na be adwuma na say when me ku na be adwuma. You wish that he join you because of your numbers. It's a name more to man you so one you good animasi. So we know chana mo be dey.
Lawyer Medasi. Atik Mohammed.
Yes.
Yen sorry any other business.
Okay. SML in some me. Becca, I'm sure we've had this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, this uncle may had. And let me say,
SML, right? Not yes. SMS.
Yeah, SML.
L, not S.
So now I can't
see any sign of a strategic mobilization
limited. Sure.
And because I'm paying and also obeying you. And I'm saying, well, that is fair. Nimum. I issued a caveat say, until such a time say the report would be produced.
Yes.
And it should be done on the condition say if Yabe say Juma Muyano and Sweeney Navy Chimwa, they should not be entitled to any payment. Nemum if Abain Ejisu say Juma Muyano Ebwa, and if the report shows say Juma Muyano Ebwa ma Abain SCV revenue, then they should continue to pay them like as if the contract was never terminated. Obient Yemi. And right now the report says Omejumano, results in government making more revenue.
Sure. Because
they're able to discover some more litters than as before. And between the period I suspended on contract, it tells you the government was losing revenue.
All things being equal.
Wabbing. No, I like that. Oh yes.
It's a smartest answer to give you anyway.
No, Wabbing. No, Wabbing. No, because I like that. You need to proceed on the assumptions that all else remaining constant. What is here? It means they are losing revenue.
Yeah.
This is in fact we are losing revenue and are buying crap because are buying what is here.
Sure.
And on that chain, the report has been produced. I shared the view that report ought to have been made public.
The full report.
Because this is a public document. Who conducted and who commissioned audit? You did not do it on your own volition. You did it because there was demand on you to cause that to be done. And yes, I report and it is for us, the Ghanaian people. You may be the president, but you are acting for and on our behalf.
Yeah.
And that report ought to have been made public. Because SML has come out to even deny some of the findings. What is here? And it says here, in my head, there is a stalemate between, and you need to reconcile these different views. Near SML, I can say the data that was used, and yet they ought not to have used that data. And it sounds logical. What is here? And KPMG for so you see different set of data. We need to read the report. Now data then we can reconcile the conflicting issues. The other issues when they say me, I have always made the point say anywhere there are volumes, I buying food and our tax is dependent
based on volumes.
Footwear.
Yeah.
Food is based on the volumes. There's always a tendency for under declarations. Yeah. There is always a tendency for government to be shortchanged. And he said, well, mechanism be in place to ensure say government is not shortchanged. I have no issue with that, especially if it is about increasing our revenue collection. Okay, the annual GRE reports now, as the most recent is the 2022 one. I don't know if the 2023 has been produced, but the 2022 report, it tells you say our tax to GDP effort form. It's not the best. Until there are efforts to increase our tax collection, our revenue collection. That ratio can be increased. Until any effort to increase our buying revenue, in doing so, there should always be value for money. Until I said, look, if government did a needs assessment, said this is something they need. Why should we have issues with it? But the report says otherwise. SML is saying
SML says the Ernst and Young technical report.
Yes. Was a needs assessment report.
A needs assessment report.
Yes.
So which actually told the story
of why the leakages.
Why they had
and the report actually admits there were leakages.
Sure.
But according to them, there was no needs assessment done. I strongly share the view, once there are leakages, we need to plug those leakages. And if this is the way to go, I have no issues. People have spoken about procurement processes. Say, omoko, because it was so omoko bias and so forth. You see, issues of technology, mostly, they are proprietary solutions. I see the problem, I develop, a technical or technological solution to,
and I pitch it to
you. You don't expect, I'm sure SML was fully aware of the technical reports now as a young for a producer. Yeah. So they said, problem nini, we can provide a technical solution to this problem. Until they put their expertise to work and came up with a solution. You are saying, Abango advertise it. How is that done? Because this is, you see, like I said, when it comes to technology, you can proprietary nipa na developing idea on nim near kwanya offer so idea. So you can say idea nipa ye advertising. Maybe if the problem you want to advertise the problem, that is fair. But when it comes to technology, it is not a DBI you do through competitive bidding. We want OB to provide some technology for us until we are opening it. Somebody says I have a solution. You can source it. So long as the processes were not criminal and I were not tainted with illegality, I don't see any problem with that. But the most important thing is that they rejected them, they went 3 times. The most important thing is that at the end of the day, they had a regular approval was given and a regular contract was signed. And yes, sir. What I say. So if the focus is on performance, the report says they partially did well. Until Amika said we need the full report. What do they mean by partial performance? And SML is Mukan is saying is what is the word to say they are opposing in law?
The objective.
Averment, and I'm going to say.
That be averment. Averment will be.
They are objecting to that finding. Saying yes, sanity. What must say? So how then do we know? Say near reports for no air cano, KPMG for air cano. Indeed is the truth. But at the end of the day, my belief is Ejuma Omoyen, is it important? And the answer is yes. Has it led to an increase in revenue? The answer is yes, even according to KPMG.
KPMG has said that, but the CSO say they disagree with that. And
what is the basis?
Point, they say.
What is the CSOs? Which ones?
Imani has spoken, specifically Bright Simmons. We've heard from ASEP. Their argument has been said within that period under review. What really is the reason for the increase we've seen? The consumption of fuel by Ghanaians And where you consume fuel, the economy was where we consumed more fuel within that period. And new taxes now by introducing on fuel, and I mean increment in taxes on the revenue side. And
so within the subject period, how many taxes on petroleum now by introducing? You need to ask that question.
It's a good question.
Because a lot of these were existing before even, SML came into the picture. What must say?
Yeah.
So to end this, this ridiculous assumption there has been an increase in consumption, and that is why our buying revenue so across. When the price, you see, there's something we call price elasticity of demand.
Yeah.
When the price of a commodity goes up, it affects its consumption. Which is here.
The demand becomes less.
Even if the demand is inelastic, because of additional cost, maybe the change in price might affect demand, but not as much as the increase in price. But nonetheless, there's still going to be an effect on the consumption. But nonetheless, there's going to be a decrease. When it Masa, now we top fuel 10,000 to fill your car, 1,000, 1,000. Says here, I know cost 2,005. You will not be able to buy the 1,005. And yes,
you still be buying your 1,000.
You still be buying your 1,000. Volumes will be conform. So this because prices there has been an increase in consumption. Consumption is a function of price and income.
And my point trying to say the data will not support a claim like that.
It's just ridiculous.
When you look at the data from 2019 through to 2019 January to 2020 April, which is 16-month period.
Yes.
Before SML.
Absolutely.
Now share NPA traded volumes now. It hinged around 400, 378, 400. On the average, 400 million. Over time, saying SML Muna. The demand is still around the same.
Exactly.
Around the like so traded volumes around the same 400.
So it doesn't. There has been an increase in consumption. The amount of traded volumes, are increasing. It's ridiculous, because, like I said, consumption is a function of price and income. There be a complaint say if there's an increase in fuel price, it's because incomes are conform. And if the price increases, as you are a rational agent, you will bet. Say, look, idea ya tumi media gra ebi me pakikai inti mim premium ho say me koso e filmic tank no mebunu tot sa, and you are saying that nipa na obunu tot no has led to an increase in consumption. So free. What kind of economics is that? In fact, common sense quite free. And this is the base upon which they are disputing the report. This is the base upon which I see SML Jumana and Sweeney. And then what is the basis? And if this is the basis, it is as ludicrous as it can get. What must here? But having said so, and also a press conference,
yes.
And sometimes, look, he made reference to, and that is why I am saying that the full report. SML disagreed with the fact that this contract required parliamentary approval. Okay, and the Public Financial Management Act.
Yes.
And they cited Section 33. It talks about
33.
Multi-year expenditure commitments. Sure. It talks about covered entities. And covered entities who call Section 102, which is the interpretation. Covered entities are constitutional bodies, the legislature, the executive, and the rest. But Section 33 says that any arrangement that commits government to, and such commitment has financial implications, which is binding on government.
Yes.
It has to be approved first by the minister and Parliament.
Yes.
In accordance with Article 181. What kind of Article 181? It talks about loans.
Yeah, Article 181 talks about loans.
And is this a loan agreement between government?
A lawyer friend just sent me this when we're having the conversation.
This is a loan agreement. Yes.
I say Article 181 deals with the GOG entering into a loan agreement by itself or other authority doing so as a result of an act of Parliament.
Yes.
The distinction which must be made clear is that the GRA and SML contract was not a contract for a loan, but for services which places some financial commitment for a multiple year.
So
that kind of contract is what Section 33(2) deals with. Section 33(2) provides for the way such contracts are approved by Parliament. Section 21 deals with annual budget approvals by Parliament for the various government agencies. In the circumstance as in the GRA and SML contract situation, what was required from GRA was for it to include its yearly budgeted payment to SML for the services rendered to Parliament. The approval of Parliament occurs when the ministry's budget with GRA as an agency's budget is passed by Parliament, which has already been done.
So they did not require any parliamentary approval because the arrangement between GRA, any Minister of Finance, and then SML, and your loan agreement. Now, so this is the basis I but you see, I have an issue, and the contract talks about the upstream and the minerals. Maybe we need to, SML needs to take a pause and look at that. And I share the view, say, it's been terminated. Let's allow, almost they should do needs assessment. Maybe the needs assessment would indicate, say, there's no need for that. There could be. Let them do the needs assessment. Because my information is that even with the upstream, there are 3 layers of monitoring. The operators, Petroleum Commission, obviously, because that's the regulator, and then you also have GRA, that they have their monitors. What is here? Monitor, the quantities.
Do tell me we should depth stake.
But that's what I'm saying. A needs assessment will tell us all these what the situation is and whether indeed intervention is required. And I maintain the point there, where there are volumes and taxes, there are always leakages and short changes. What you must say. And the assessment will tell us whether indeed this is a service that is needed or not. But as for Nkrofua, I respect CSOs because we are in the same space. But sometimes you want to question the intention of some CSOs. For me, if you are a civil society organization, if you are presenting an argument, it should be cogent enough to convince people. But merely saying, oh, there be upstream need a enjoy. What is the basis? Oh, you should be able to tell us, oh, maybe there are 3 layers of monitoring. Say. Look, Obi has also advanced an argument, say, the problem at the upstream, is here. Say at the upstream level, it is more of an accounting problem. Because when you say, we also have other entitlements. Like petroleum entitlements beyond the Enyan. Because the calculation there is disagreement. So we have an accounting problem even at the upstream. And this issue of monitoring is a problem. So it needs a thorough needs assessment
will help us
know where we stand and what we need to do.
Very well. Twum, about the
except me, Okas or Brass and 2 more men coming there. Another shoe, and opposite something over crowd. Anyway, yes, never come. We are all right. Obi, my first point said a brand quantity mean I didn't consume, but I can't remember the summary. I can say a bonus a DNC Mampanin for a report on my.
The full report from KPMG.
In the reason, India, what keeping the idea?
It's a legitimate question.
Very much so.
I didn't hear. Okay, I was an amateur. One in way.
Send put in Ghana Police Service.
But report to say, oh, how? The Mampanin one at report was a weapon. So to today, Miniano continue to struggle to defend himself because Obia want to report to assess and see say, "Ye can say we and I answer say na my way we say we can say yenim." But osuro to form. Obi so ko no butuo. Obi so ko no for no da ya. Obi so ko no da say, "Ma ye hu na de na obi kan yetmetumne a chelesi."
Okay.
So what I say?
Yes.
Don't keep the report as he said. One said I shall say and yes, I man because one person Ghana for whom the question. Anything about man, I say, what shall say in you? I don't know what I say, one go human, and no man penny now to get your macao. Or mind the try. We Ghana or Ghana, and I said the country paid KPMG to work, not President Nana Kufuor paying KPMG. So it's a report back from the work that the KPMG have done. Don't you think we are supposed to know because they had our money as their fee? Why are you keeping the report? Because the report in the bar, whether or not SML is saying something genuine or they are not saying something genuine, we can deduce it from the report. But now, report in Yeni, and I won't should now a report. Me, I'm a you knew. Because I know that you can do cherry picking. I know you can do cherry picking from the report. In that, with my yin, some the officer offer. The officer come here and they be coming at you. But so need my idea. You better send a person couldn't have. No, but if I said I send a answer for the answer was near Nuclear woman and Ukraine. But it says I won't go on. Dear, let us appear once and across Sassan woman. Kakabina walk am I yet to know? So they are saying this, they are saying that, they are saying that. No, as I think was saying, you say they did their work. Was it a partial what?
Partial success. Partial
success. No? What then a partial? What went into that partial part? No?
Okay.
Half year then, full year then. But Sebian can report to be a CA who can. We will know how come they said they performed partially. But now who can ye? One kwana woshimuna, my bits and pieces of Kakrabi Yenya. But medicine, the American as you understand. For us to be able to bring this matter to a good conclusion, we need to see the report.
Okay.
So that whether you're from saying that be serious, Imani and Co. No, whether the point that they are raising, I mean, I love that the reference now making here. So if our consumption hasn't changed and was quite more or less static, in that before and then during, now you were the same level they are, then one more point, is also subject to further scrutiny. But see, you make my scrutiny, and we need to go further and better details. But here is the case. I say, we are just hovering around Kakana Yatiano, and the can be. But the nitty-gritty is in Yeni. And I think I will urge Parliament that they should call on the Finance Minister to produce that report to Parliament. Since it is our money that was used to pay the KPMG guys to work, we need to see the report so that we can go into it.
Very, very good point. Lawyer Medasi.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far, so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.